Hello, team. My name is Albert Murray. For those of you that don't know me, and hopefully very soon we'll get a chance to meet if we don't already know each other or haven't met already. But first and foremost, I'd like to welcome you to this awesome opportunity and welcome to our team. There's some great things that you're going to learn over the process of being a Viridian associate, and there's some things that you're going to need to know to be a good associate, if you will. But there's this thing that we call the Duplic8 process. And in this process, it's our system for building. It's our success system. It's what we do in this business that makes us successful. It's the one thing that we all do in conjunction together, pretty much the same way every day, every single opportunity that we get to do something relating to this business. It falls back within the Duplic8 system. So the first thing in the Duplic8 system is your why. And the why is everything. The why is your reasons why you're doing this business. It's the reasons that get you up in the morning to get you excited. Your why is never about money. It's what basically is what the money will allow you to do in life. You know, it's real easy to say I want to make a $10,000 a month or what have you, but that won't get you excited. But what may get you excited is being able to put your kids through college. You know, so that why is super important. And if you're a sponsor of other associates in this business, which if you're lucky enough to move forward in this company, you will sponsor quite a few people. You definitely want to make sure you know your team's why. Each and every person on your team, you want to know their why, because when they go through those rough times, and they will, when this business is a little harder than what they thought it was going to be, or that person didn't get started that they thought was going to get started, or they just missed that great bonus, or something that the wrong person, the wrong right person told them no, that they're going to get deflated in the business. And it's that why that keeps them going. So when you call them back up, you say, well, listen, John, is it still important for you to bring your wife home from work? You know, and that puts it a little more in perspective. You know, so as you look to motivate yourself, you have to identify that why and know that that why is everything. It's what gets you up in the morning. That why is so strong, it'll make you cry. That why will make you do the things that nothing else will make you do. So establish a strong why, write it down, put it somewhere in your planner, in your phone, where you can refer back to it. And sometimes as you go through this business, your why will change. But the next thing behind the why, step number 2 in the Duplic8 process, is putting together a list. Listen, a list is so important in this business because it's what we start to work with. You know, you pull out that marriage list when you got married, when you graduated from college or high school, what have you, and you just start writing down a list. And it's important that you write it down, because not just keeping it in your phone and what have you, but you want to have it written down, because one of the things that you're going to do is you're going to show that list to other folks that you get into the business so that they can see how important it is to keep one. And the list grows continuously. And we'll talk about how the list grows continuously a little bit later. But you start off with this list, and I know the Duplic8 system talks about 10, and you're going to start out with that 10. But I'll tell you, the person that makes the most money in this business is the one that has the largest list. I mean, you just take the difference between a regular local store and the inventory in a regular store, and the inventory that's involved in running a Walmart or a Sam's Club or something of that nature. You know, so the people on your list is your inventory. It's like the stock on your shelves. You know, so you wouldn't open a business and not put anything on the shelf, you know, without having any inventory. You know, so if you're opening up a car dealership, you've got to have cars on the lot. So in this business, that those people on your list, that is your inventory. That is your cars on the lot. That is the inventory that's on the shelves that you are able to market. So put together that list, and then you continue to grow that list. And we're going to talk about how we prospect a little bit later, but we like to do this thing we call 2 prospects daily, you know, 2PD, which is 2 prospects daily, which ultimately takes you to 2 presentations daily. And if you're doing 2 presentations, I'll tell you, you're doing a phenomenal job in this business if you're able to do that on a daily basis. But the next thing past the list is going to be how to invite, how to contact the folks on the list and invite. And this is most important, and this is something that you a lot of times will not do by yourself. You'll be trained on how to do this more efficiently. But the contact and inviting part is just so vital to your business. And a lot of it contains verbiage that you should be using, each and every time. And it's going to take repetition. This is going to take repetitious learning for you to get better at this. But again, you're going to contact and invite the people on your list to see what. Step number 4 is the story, to see the plan, to show the plan video. We like to call that our business plan. So that video is about 10, 11 minutes long. So generally in the invitation stage, what you're doing is you're calling somebody up and you're saying, hey, John, listen, I'm super excited about something I just got involved in. And what I wanted to do was just find out when you had about 15 minutes in front of your computer, when you'll be uninterrupted and you'll be in front of your computer with internet access. And I want to show you something then. And then what I'll do after that is I'm going to have you talk to one of my partners who's going to answer any questions that you have. So when would you have about 15 minutes available in front of that computer? And a lot of times what I'll do is I'll text that out. As a team, we'll text that out. Hey, John, when will you have 15 minutes in front of a computer with internet access uninterrupted? I'd like to show you something, and you may even include in there, I have Thursday at 6 or Friday at 2 p.m., which might be better for you. Or just give me a date or what have you. Just give me examples, because sometimes if we give somebody a broad range, we don't get anything. But if you narrow it down for them, you give them 2 dates and times, they'll pick one. So you just have to find out which really works best for you. But I like giving times and dates and what have you. So next, after you share the story, is following up. Listen, the fortune is in the follow-up. Why would you put a list together? Why would you contact and invite? Why would you share the story if you weren't going to follow up? Most people, it's going to take about 3 to 5, 6, sometimes 8 exposures. I'll tell you, the best people you're going to bring into your business are going to be the people that you talk to next year. You start talking to them now, but they get started next year, because next year, guess what? They're surprised that you're still in the business and they're asking you things like, hey, Al, are you, how's that business going? It's still going good for you, or when you call to follow back up with them a year from now. And remember, we're not bugging these people that we're following up, but we're just asking them, if they say no, or let me think about it. We're just following back up with them in a reasonable amount of time. And that's why the list is so important, because if you got a nice long list, then you don't have to badger and lose your posture trying to beg somebody to do something right now when they're not ready. That's not the person you want in your business anyway. But when you follow up, and usually that's just saying, okay, great, I understand right now may not be the time for you. Is it okay if I just keep you informed? And that's the longest form of following up, when you are kind of cultivating and what we call dripping on somebody to help them go through the process they need to go to before they get to the point where they say, this is something that I want to do. So following up, the fortune is in the follow-up. That might just be really the follow-up. On the most, on average, really the main follow-up you're going to be doing is when you contact somebody and they say, hey, let's have this meeting on this particular day. You call them on time. You send them a reminder, call them on time, be ready for your meeting. And then after that, it's, when you leave or finish with that particular section, the thing is to close your objective, and your objective is always to move them to the next scheduled appointment. So that's another exposure. Maybe it's the briefing, maybe it's a webinar, maybe it's a one-on-one with somebody else, you and someone else, you and them, or a 2-on-1, you, your sponsor, and them. So that's really the follow-up piece of it, and it's the most important. It's where most associates get lost and start to lose in this business, because they contact but they don't follow up. The next thing is really plugging in, folks. The meeting is our boardroom meeting, the weekly briefing. That's our boardroom meeting, and all of us go to that meeting, because I tell you, each and every one of us needs it. What would happen when you finally got that great person that you wanted to get out to the meeting and nobody's there because everybody decided to take off? It's our board meeting, folks. So we take the time to get there. We know we're going to be there every week, and so therefore we do the things that help us generate people from our list, our continuously growing list, that allow us to contact and invite those people, and then ultimately get them to the briefing. And if we don't have anybody, we're there, because I tell you, at the meeting, that's where everybody anybody in this business is going to be. That's where the motivation is going to be. That's where the knowledge is going to be. That's where all of the information and the promotions that are going on and what's happening the following week. All of that is announced at the weekly briefing. So make sure that you plug in. Next is setting goals. You definitely want to set goals. You find out where you are right now in your business. If you are independent associate, then the next thing right now is just to get qualified. Is to do your first revolution. Is to do your second revolution to get the 10 customer points. We say 5 to get your first revolution, but we never make our minimums our maximum. So what we want to make sure that we're doing is we're able to go out and get 15 customer points. So let's bring on 5 new associates in our first 28 days. I went director in 21 days, less than 21 days. So let's not make our minimums our maximums, and let's stretch to go ahead out and really maximize the compensation plan. So set your goals. Where do you want to be? By what time? How many associates do you want to have by a certain date? And we'll do another training on goals a little bit later. But after the 7th step, which is setting your goal, then the next step is to repeat and grow. You just follow back through, just that section 8 duplicate system. We're just going to rotate back through, and we're going to repeat the whole process. We're going to go back. You may look at your why again, but your why is not going to change that often. Okay, but you are adding folks again to your list. You're contacting and inviting those people. You're sharing the story with them. You're following up. You're setting the goals, and then you're repeating and growing in the process. So once again, I certainly want to appreciate each and every one of you for taking the time to look at this video. Welcome to the team. And again, focus on that 2 PD, 2 prospects daily. That's just 2 people. And we try to do something that's easy and something that you can develop a habit. It takes 21 days to develop a habit. 2 exposures a day. If you're full-time, then 2 to 5 exposures a day. But the way we teach and train this is to say 2 exposures a day. Okay, because over the course, just imagine you got 10 people doing 2 exposures a day. Okay, 10 people doing 2 exposures a day is how many exposures in one day? It's 20 exposures. If you take that over the course of 5 days, that's 100 exposures, 100 prospects that you've actually given a business card to, gotten a telephone number from them, and you're following up with them now to show them the plan. Okay, so you do 10 people doing 2 a day is 100. 5 days a week, taking off, 2 days, if you will. But just keeping the number simple times 5 days is 100. And that's 400 prospects that you brought into your business. Just 10 people in 1 month. Okay, so just understand the power of that 2 is just huge. Okay, and if you do that, you'll start having the people to prospect, the people to follow up with, and the people to sit down and meet with. Okay, now understand, this is how, and I'm gonna close with this. This is how we prospect. I'm gonna always have my business cards, so you've got to order business cards. It's the only way you're gonna be professional in this business. And all I'm gonna do is, while I'm out, I don't go out to prospect. I prospect while I'm out. I'm always looking for somebody sharp. And basically, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say something like this: "How you doing today, sir? Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Al Murray. I'm a local business owner here in the Southern Maryland area, and I'm really excited about a project that I'm working on with some other sharp people. You may or may not be interested, but what I like to do is share my card with you, get your name and number, and I'll contact you so we can set up a short 15 minutes where you have some time in front of a computer uninterrupted, and you can view our business plan. And I guarantee you this: if you see it like I saw it, you're going to be really, really excited about it. And if it's something that doesn't appeal to you, then I really thank you for taking the time. But here's the thing. Let me go ahead and get your name and number. Okay, great. And your email address. Outstanding. Well, listen, what I'll do is I'll give you a call back a little later on, maybe tomorrow. What would be the best time to reach you tomorrow? Okay, great. I'll just call you up so we can set up that 15-minute time frame when we'll be able to go through our business plan. All right, great. Well, listen, it's been really good meeting you. Do that twice a day, folks. It took a minute to do that. Okay, practice. And go through repetitious learning and working on how you say that to folks and how you deliver it to people, and remember, the most important part of that is you just keeping control. And remember that a person is only going to be as comfortable as you are, a person is only going to be as comfortable with you as you are with them. So again, that's why you have to be practiced up. Don't worry about making a mistake, because you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person. So anyway, thank you so much, and certainly look forward to working with you. Thanks, and God bless. Bye-bye.